Don't bite off more than you could chew. Welcome to Happy Suffer.
I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like
not bad.
I get it, but like, I don't know.
if you can swallow a child whole, I feel like that's not
Sure.
really an issue for you.
You could have got the word. Should have got the word chomp in here somewhere.
Yeah.
This is episode 275 of I Happy Suffer. My name is Birch.
We do this every week, and every week I forget to look at the fucking
Damn it! There's
cast.
cool names at the end, and I went with Birch. Can't be Pill Creep Beard Boy.
Deal.
Katie'd be Double Cigarette Johnny.
What a sick name.
Or Party
I-
Hat
I'm
Girl.
gonna
I was
make
a
that my
party
gamer
hat
tag.
Cakey the waitress. Love it.
Oh, what a fucking good movie. This week
Look out, it's Double Cigarette Johnny.
we are talking about 2021's Chompy and the Girls. A good movie. Somehow.
Yeah, against all odds.
I was not expecting this movie to be like actual emotions
Sad.
in it, and like I was like, this is a fucking movie about a dude with a huge mouth swallowing people alive. I'm in. Nope.
And like, you would think by that premise that this movie would be very goofy, but it's like not at all.
No, like it's like the first 15 or 20 minutes or whatever it is when like by the time you see him like swallow the first girl, it's kind of like I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty much what I expected. And then it just like goes off the rails where it's just like no longer this weird sort of horror-y sci-fi thing. It becomes like a mix of like comedy and drama for the most part.
Yeah,
I was here
I was
for
gonna
it.
say, like, I somehow really enjoyed this movie. I thought the plot was
Oh, I
extremely
loved it.
weird, but like in a good way. I will say though, like, I personally would not consider this a horror movie.
No.
Yeah, not really.
It's,
Not even horror comedy.
no.
Like, that's not labeled as. It's like
It's
no?
like a
I-
sci-fi drama sort of like.
I mean it as
or
much
pi-
as like it's it's got a fucking dude with a huge mouth swallowing people. Like I get why it's kind of thrown in that category, and there's like, you know, them being sort of like chased down. It
Yeah.
feels like, so like I get it, but I also like it's not really a horror movie.
No, there's no gore. To be very fair, you only see him swallow a girl one time. I imagined, like, when I first came across this movie, the title, like, really caught me because I was like, what could this possibly be about? But the trailer...
Chompy and the girls.
Yeah, it makes sense to
Chompy.
me.
And the girls. Now it really, really makes sense. And I was like, where are the girls? The trailer literally is that scene from the park. So to me, that's like the main, except for like later when he is like, like trying to communicate with the main characters. That is kind of like the shocking reveal of the movie. And I feel like, and it says in the title, like literally a guy eats a little girl whole. But I feel like if you went into this movie thinking this was just like a movie about a girl who is like struggling with addiction and like having childhood trauma and all this stuff, and you're like watching it plays out like very much like a normal movie for the first, like 10 or 15 minutes, and then you're just like watching it and you're like, oh my god, this is like hard. She's like seeing her dad or whatever, and like you didn't know there was an aspect of like a man eating a child whole. Like that would have been so like jarring. I think it would have been like It was still good, but like you know what I mean.
It's one of those things where like this is one of those ones that it would have been like incredible to just go into blind.
Yeah,
but like
that's what I was trying to say.
like the title also kind of like gives it away, but it's also like probably the thing that gets people to watch it. So it's like a sort of double-edged sword, because it's like if this was just like some generic title, we would have never paid attention to it.
Definitely.
Right. It's get with some of those Bloods versus Wolves titles in here to fucking trick us into watching your movie.
That's right.
But every once in a while that trick works, like this one. This movie rocked. I was very into it.
Me too.
Very into Udo Kier as the voice inside Chompy. The fucking mouth. I
was not expecting that.
The mouth looks incredible.
Yeah,
so good.
It's so funny. I want to be Chompy for Halloween.
That would be an amazing costume.
I need a special effects company to hook me up.
Yeah.
Chompy mouth.
If you got a friend group together and one of you was Chompy and the rest of them were the girls, that would be amazing.
I'm in. I gotta find friends.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Okay. See ya.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was like, the more the movie, like, at first I was like, okay, well, this is just gonna be like a dumb movie we watch, but like, it was, I was into it. And then the further it went on, and the further you got into just sort of like the characters actually dealing
depression.
with like depression and like addiction, and just like this girl who's like discovered her dad or met her dad. But they're fucking like talking about getting divorced. Like, it's pretty surprising and very good, and like handled pretty well. And like all of the actors are like at first, like the guy that plays the dad, I was kind of like, oh no, I don't know how I don't feel following this dude for like an hour and a half, but like he pulls it off. Like,
I think all of them are really good, even the little girl.
Yeah, I think him by himself, I would have been like, oh god, that's too much. But I think his sort of blandness isn't the right word, but like,
he's just like an ordinary like little paper plate man.
Yeah, like him being like a kind of
he's playing the straight man
next to fuck, why can't I remember her name now?
Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson just being like extremely erratic and sort of like talking very fast and like whatever. Like, I think they played off each other really well. And then Deborah was very funny when she like pops in. We'll get to it, but there's one scene I wish they wouldn't have like telegraphed so much, which is when Chompy gets hit by the car. Because it's like they're like, everything's fine, he's going off to like do whatever, they've like figured out what the plot is, and then you just keep seeing her driving, and I was like, oh, it would have been so much better if he would have just like walked out of the garage and got like plowed into without them showing Deborah coming.
Yeah, and I think that like there's a lot of scenes that I will say I was like way into this whole story, and I will say like the only thing that, because I thought that they did a really good job of like not hiding, but like playing within what their budget was, and like not trying to do too much that would have looked shitty. Like, but the ending to me was like, I don't know. So there was something about it that I was just like, okay, sure. Like, not specifically what happens, but the way that they chose to like visually represent it, like, wasn't my favorite. But they do like.
You mean like the CGI or whatever?
Yeah.
I was kind of here for it. I thought I'm down for like some shitty CGI in some things, depending on how it is. And I thought like, like it's just supposed to be like a weird universe thing they jump into, and I was like, oh, I'm fine. I'm here for it.
Yeah. But my point was that like there's a lot of times where you could tell where they just do like cutaways instead of like I felt like they edited it smartly to kind of like not like hide what their budget was, but they didn't like try to do too much. I think that they were smart about like what they showed.
Yeah.
And probably maybe a guy with a huge mouth getting wrecked by a car like probably wasn't in their budget, but I agree with you.
I'm never gonna not be thinking about this fucking giant mouth.
Especially because like before Jackson decides to call him Chompy, they're just calling him the Mouthman, and I was like terrifying, so scary. And like, okay, any final thoughts before we just like get into the plot?
No. I was just looking to see if Pill Creep Beard Boy had any other credits. And
I hope so.
I mean, at least on Letterboxd, it's just Chompy.
Damn.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that this director doesn't have anything else on Letterboxd. It's literally just Chompy and the girls. So hopefully we will
Strong
see more
start
from
to a
them.
career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
tried
might
to
be a
find
one
them
and
on
done,
like
but-
Instagram and like didn't find anything. So I was wondering if like they had anything else like in the works or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, wow. Okay, so this starts with who we find out it's our main character, Jackson, who is drawing a sign in cursive that says "The End" with a smiley face. Then she has literally a noose. Like I guess like lots of
This
trigger
movie
warnings
starts
for
out
this
hard.
movie.
Yeah.
For
Goddamn.
like suicidal ideation, a trauma, like any kind, almost like there's no blood, there's no gore, there's no like real murder, but there's a lot of like emotional distress that happens in this movie that I feel like could very much trigger somebody. So I'll just say that. She has a noose hanging from her fan that she puts her hand through first and kind of like mimics what she thinks it would be like to be hanging. And then she gets up on a rolly desk chair and puts her head through it, and the chair moves, and she is like being strangled for a mo before the
ceiling
weight
fan
of it
breaks.
the weight of it like pulls the ceiling fan out of the ceiling, and then it's like just enough that her tiptoes are on the floor, and so like she obviously is fine. She can touch the floor, so she's not gonna be.
It's funny because like it shows like it looks like she's on her tiptoes, but then she just steps down like fully, and you're just like, oh, so this is like.
And she just like heavy sighs.
I think one of the things they do really well in it too is like the way they show the chair go out. Like it doesn't make it very clear as to whether she actually pushed the chair out or it slips. And it kind of leaves that vagueness for like the rest of the movie. Like obviously she like was looking to kill herself, but
or like
it's
playing with the idea.
Yeah, and it's like you kind of aren't really sure, like if like the chair moving was like on purpose or not.
Yeah, how intentional it was.
Yeah, I kind of liked that.
Yeah, and I mean, because she obviously does look surprised, but I feel like you're going to be surprised either way, whether it was. So, and then she's just kind of like, well, shit. Then we get like the credits with like some little animations that end up being part of a like lore book later that I thought that everything in this movie was like planned out so well because it all tied back together. Like all of the sign that she writes, because like technically you could interpret the end being like a suicide note, right? Even though it had a smiley face on it, you know, it's just her humor, I guess. And then like all of these little drawings that they're showing in the beginning are part of the like lore book that she reads later.
Yeah.
So I was like, it all just is like tied together. So then we meet our other main character, Sam. He is like a businessman. He gets a package delivered to his house, and he comes in and has some small talk with his wife, whose name is Deborah. I wrote wife the whole time, so maybe I'll remember.
Deborah wife.
Maybe I won't.
Yeah.
Deborah wife. And it's like very clear that their relationship is not great because he is they have kind of like one of those like stereotypical relationships where she's just like, shut up, I don't have time for whatever dumb thing you're talking about, and you're just like, okay dear. He's like a very quiet, like meek man sort of. He comes in and immediately starts talking to her about like the office drama, and he's talking about how this made me laugh. He's talking about how somebody who was like a really like important person in his company quit his job, and he says he's going to become a swamp person, and I was like, amazing.
Same.
I mean, honestly. Then he starts talking about how like, well, because like being at first I laughed, but there is that TV show Swamp People where people are, it's like a, you know, like a reality show. But they hunt alligators and whatnot. And he was like, it's just a way of life. He's gonna go like hunt alligators and stuff. And I was like, that is
sure, why not?
Hilarious to me. Yeah. The wife doesn't want to hear about the alligator hunting or whatever. Sam unpacks these, what we find out are snakeskin boots, cowboy boots, snakeskin cowboy boots that he puts on.
They're incredible.
Yeah.
He looks very cool in them.
I love it, especially when he wears them with his like pajama pants.
I know.
Perfect. Okay, so it switches back to Jackson, and she is now trying to repair her fan, and she's trying to call like her friends. She tries to call her one friend, she tries to call her mom, but like no one is answering, and it was like it was like so sad to me because she just like went through this experience, whether she was like trying to actually like end her life or not. It was like so sad to me that she was like trying to like call people in her life and nobody would answer, and it was just like kind of like that thing of her just like realizing she doesn't really have anybody. And I was like, that is so freaking sad. She like calls her mom, and her mom's like, I don't have time to talk to you, and like hangs up immediately.
Well, I also like, I kind of like how they sort of give you all of the like ideas of like why she would want to do this without like really like making it super
Blatantly,
obvious or whatever.
Yeah,
like
without her literally saying, I have no friends and no one likes me or whatever.
I feel like a worse filmmaker would just like be like, oh, that's right, I did this thing to everybody. That's why they don't like me. That's why I don't have
right.
or whatever. And like, I also thought that like the mom was Deborah for like the first like little bit, like, well, because like, you know, like until they like you realize that she's like meeting the dad for the first time or whatever, I was like, oh, is this gonna be like Deborah's like her mom? And because like Deborah has the same reaction to like Sam when he comes in, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. They have very similar attitudes. This is where I noticed, and I didn't realize that they were going to make this like a huge talking point later, but this is where I noticed that she's wearing a she's wearing a t-shirt that had Lizzie Borden on it, and I was like, oh my god, I low-key like really want that shirt. And then it becomes like a focal point later, and I was like, oh, well, either way, very funny. It's just like a purple t-shirt with like a portrait of Lizzie Borden.
Badly screen printed like Lizzie Borden picture on it.
I love Amazing. It so much. And I was like, when I was like watching it, I was like, I wonder like, this is actually a pretty funny premise. And I was like, I wonder how many people actually know who that is. And then they talk about it later, so it's fine. So this is when she calls like a drug dealer person, and she's like trying to hang out with him. She's like, I don't really have any money to like buy drugs from you, but like I kind of just want to hang out, like we can go to the park or like whatever. And he's just kind of like I don't like, we're not friends, I don't really know you like that. Like maybe I'll see you at this party that we were all invited to. And she was just like, yeah, totally. Yeah, I totally know about that. See you later or whatever.
It's a chapel party.
I still am like not really sure what that means, because it was just at like a person's house.
Well, yeah, the idea was that they were saying it was a church. That way, like if it got shut down by the police, they could be like, no, we're like doing church stuff. And
yeah, like listening. I will also say, for a movie that is not in any way, shape, or form a Christmas movie, there are 2 Christmas songs that play in it, which I found interesting.
Oh, well, I don't know if I even like noticed any of the music in this movie.
One of them is when they go to the chapel party. I think that technically the song is like a church song, like a hymn, whatever. But it's played very often as a Christmas song. And then later in the movie, during one of their like awkward heart-to-hearts, she like turns on the radio, and the radio announcer literally goes, well, it's not Christmas, but I like this song, so I'm going to play it anyway.
I remember that
and
now.
then she starts singing whatever. Yeah. Anyways, so it switches back over to Sam, and he has brought home sandwiches. His wife is like, what are we supposed to have for dinner? I'm so busy. I don't have time to go out or anything. And he's just like, oh, I brought sandwiches. And she's mad about it. She said sandwiches aren't dinner. Excuse me?
They can be.
Sandwiches are for any time of day. You could have a breakfast sandwich or a lunch sandwich or a dinner sandwich. And he's like, I'm sorry. Like, I knew you would be hungry, so I brought these home without you having to. Like, he's just very like a thought. Like, you know, he was being thoughtful. He thought, and it's just like not good enough for him or whatever, or for her. And she's like mad about it. And I was like, well, I'll take your fucking sandwich if you don't want it. And he's just kind of like trying to figure out what to do when he gets a text message, and it's from Jackson, but it's essentially she is saying like, is this Sam, whatever your name is? Like, my name is Jackson. My mom is this person. Like, I'm your daughter. Can we meet? And Sam is kind of like freaked out, of course. Like, what a random text to get. But he's immediately like, yeah, I'll meet you, you know, where? So he makes up a lie to his wife that there's some problem with the computers at work and he's got to leave. He puts on the snakeskin boots and she like makes fun of him.
Rude.
Let him live, okay?
He's out here styling.
She's like, a snake died for those. Listen, lady, there's plenty of snakes in the world, if you ask me. It's fine.
Yeah, we need more
okay.
of them. I feel like they could run the world. Probably be a little better.
Who run the world? Snakes. Who runs the world?
I have no idea what that is.
I think it's
Unbelievable.
a Beyonce song.
Yeah, Beyonce.
Pass. Yeah, I said it.
Actually,
Come after me, Bayhive.
Oh, I do not care.
Yeah.
I'm
Beyonce
sorry.
Snake crossover.
I'm sorry to
2023.
admit this too. I absolutely do not care about Beyonce at all. But the reason why the joke I made was very smart is because normally she would say, who runs the world? And then the answer is girls, Chompy and the girls, but it's snakes. Get it? All right.
I prefer Chompy to be running the world.
Well, too bad.
Champion snakes.
Chompy
There
just
you go.
swallow anyone that fucking crosses him.
I mean, okay, so Jackson goes and waits in the park, and Sam arrives, and the conversation kind of goes sort of how you would expect, where she's like, you know, like, he's like, you know, like, what, I don't know, you know, like, how it would go, where she's saying that she knew about him like for a while and she knew where to find him, but she just reached out because like she's like, I kind of had a weird morning, aka like she almost died
Trying to kill herself.
So she was like, you know, it's obvious that she's like trying to make a little bit of a change in her life. So she's like, I just wanted to meet you, like, did you know I existed? And he's like, no, I had no idea. And they're kind of just like talking. And this is when Sam kind of like comments on her shirt, and she says it's Lizzie Borden, and they sing. Did you guys know this Lizzie Borden song?
The 40 wax
Okay,
thing.
I thought that was just like totally. Maybe it is. Maybe the person I was like, okay, I don't remember what we were talking about, but there was like somebody said something about Lizzie Borden, and I like sang the song, and they were like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, for real? Like, what do you mean? I thought, I'm glad to hear that you guys know it, because I feel like it's like a super common thing, but like...
I assume it's how everyone learns about Lizzie Borden, is
right.
the song.
And...
I mean, I don't think it was a thing that, like, was being sang on, like, the fucking schoolyard at the schools I was in, but I know I've heard it in, like, other movies or TV shows or whatever.
I mean, yeah... I totally didn't sing in that school or anything. Okay. Well, anyways, she's like sings. They sing the Lizzie. She whatever sings the song about the 40 wax, and the reason that it's like ironic is that like Lizzie Borden is said to have murdered her dad and stepmom. She was not convicted. It's heavily like speculated that it was her, and so it's like funny, you know. Jackson is like, oh yeah, I probably should have like changed my shirt because like here she comes to meet her dad for the first time wearing the shirt with a person who like maybe killed her dad. So I found that very funny. Then they kind of like just have a conversation about how like
Murder shirts are in.
Murder shirts, yeah. And the reason I thought this was interesting is because like she's talking about how her friend is like trying to make these murder shirts but for teens, and she's like, it's not really going very well because like we use all these iconic pictures like Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, and she was like, if you saw Jeffrey Dahmer on a t-shirt, would you recognize him? And I was like, yeah, as a 50-year-old man or however old he is, like he probably would. Teenagers nowadays probably don't know who these people are just by looking at their picture. So
I disagree.
I'm not really sure. I don't really know why you would like.
I feel in the real world, fucking every white woman on Earth would recognize Jeffrey Dahmer. It seems like.
I think that
this was 2 years ago. This was like right at the start. Whenever this was being made, it was probably right at the start of the Dahmer-sance.
I think, but what I'm saying is that like I don't think teenagers care or know about the like those kinds of things.
Surprised.
So like,
I think true crime culture is so prevalent now that like I guarantee you teenagers are listening to those podcasts and shit and watching those documentaries.
Sure. I think I don't know. I sort of feel like maybe, especially like I feel like images of like Evan Peters are probably really common instead. But
we should just start selling like these shirts, but instead it'll just be like the actors that played them. We'll just sell them as legit.
This is them. I've like.
It'll just be Evan Peters as all of them.
Evan
Peters is Quicksilver. We'll say is like John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah. As Lizzie Borden,
his silver spray paint hair,
in his period dress. Actually, like I like that storyline that him, like actually as Quicksilver, has just been like all of the world's most notorious serial killers. But like, I don't know. I feel like also I would wear a Lizzie Borden t-shirt because I think that's funny for different reasons, and she's maybe not a killer. I think don't make merchandise though with like Ted Bundy and fucking Jeffrey Dahmer and then wear it. Like I find that to be in very poor taste. I know that a lot of people differ in that opinion, but I think like murder merchandise is like that's like real is disgusting, and I don't think I knew a girl who had literally like Ted Bundy tattooed on her.
Jesus.
That's maybe the biggest red flag I've ever heard.
I think like
Texas Theater here sells a Lee Harvey Oswald shirt. I feel like
it's different
rocks.
when it's just like somebody tried to kill
murdering a president
as opposed to just like was killing random people.
Yeah, I think obviously there are lines, but like I feel like don't wear a t-shirt or get Ted Bundy tattooed on you. Also, I think that's...
Let's be real, Lee Harvey Oswald didn't do it.
Yeah, obviously not.
This
is a picture of a framed man.
All right, anyways.
Let's just start a company that's just framed man t-shirts. Everybody will
overtaking murder shirts in no time.
Everybody will know who those people are.
Okay. Anyways, don't do murder t-shirts. Real murder t-shirts.
Just go murder
t-shirts. Death metal bands.
Yes. So they have this like whole conversation, whatever, and Sam is just kind of like, listen, I'm sorry, like I can't do this right now. And she's like, what? So I'm just like not supposed to contact you or talk to you or whatever. And he's just like, no, I'm not saying that. I just like can't deal with this right now. Like, I'm sorry, I just can't deal with it. And he goes to leave. And earlier in their conversation, because I was looking for it, you do see the little girl because she's wearing like a pink jacket walk by them in the background. And so like originally when this scene happens, and this is the trailer, they're talking, they look over because the little girl is just like standing in the middle of a park by herself. And originally when this happens, I was like, why is she just standing there? Like, this is so weird. And then it does make sense because things are not what they seem. But they're dun, like, dun. Sam's getting ready to leave or whatever. And Jackson looks over and literally sees a man walk up to the little girl as his mouth is elongating. Like, so picture this. This man is wearing a gray suit with a V-neck red tank top underneath it and sandals, like flip-flops, no socks, and glasses. And he looks
deranged.
He looks already off. He walks up to her, his mouth elongates, and it literally goes from like where your mouth starts and it goes down like past his
It's like down to
chest.
like his hips, basically.
It's like so long, and then he just like bends over and completely swallows the little girl.
It looks like, have you ever seen any of those like the videos of like say like a football mascot like swallowing a cheerleader or something?
Yeah, fair.
It looks like that. Like it looks so absurd.
But and like
I
the
am
way
kind of
that
curious how they pulled that off. I can't like because I guess maybe I didn't pay attention close enough to see if it was like CGI or whatever.
it is, but they're so far in the distance that like you can't really tell.
I feel like at this point, like I had not yet like got fully invested into the movie where I like was like really paying attention, and so I saw it happen, and I was just kind of like, oh, that's cool, and then just like didn't even think about it. Now I was like, just thinking about it now, I was like, hey, how did they do that? But yeah, I guess CGI makes sense.
Well, I don't know because it definitely was CG. There is a scene later where I felt like the mouth was like a prosthetic, but then later it's CG again, so I'm not really sure like maybe sometimes for the close up it's half and half. I don't know. But anyways, he eats a child whole. She's like 10 maybe, so she's like pretty tall, and he just like bends over at the hips and just like swallows her completely. And they're watching it and they're just kind of like frozen. I think the other thing that I like about this movie is that the characters' reactions to me seem very real.
Yeah.
Because they like see this thing and they're like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden Chompy just like turns and looks at them and they're like, oh my God. The way that Chompy fast walks is so unnerving. Like
upsetting. The stare that he does also.
It's also like somehow his upper body, he kind of like hunches over a little bit and walks. His legs are moving so fast, like scuttling almost, but his upper body like doesn't move at all. It's very unnerving. And he starts towards them, you know, like fast walking towards them. And they're like, oh my God. And they get up and they both like fumble into their cars and they drive away. And then we see Chompy just kind of like stand there and like look after them. And I'm like, oh my God. Well, he doesn't have his stretched mouth at this point. He can like stretch it and then look normal again.
It looks so insane.
It's so creepy. The Mouthman, I hate it. Okay. Sam arrives back at his house and he is obviously very freaked out, and his wife is like, whoa, what happened? How did it go? And Sam's just like, and then he throws up. Fair. Then back at home, Jackson smokes 2 cigarettes and Googles like cannibalism and things on her computer when she hears a bang outside. So she like goes and she's like freaked out, obviously. She like looks, she doesn't really see anything, and she's just like, all right, I don't know. She goes into her kitchen and all of a sudden Chompy just barges in her front door. And this is where he like elongates his mouth at her, and this is where it looks like half practical.
I think it's all practical. I mean, like, just looking at like the pictures of it, I think it's but like I don't remember. I watched this like 3 days ago.
Yeah, the scene where he does it later when they decide to talk to him looks CG to me. So,
like,
but I don't know.
Obviously, there's a shot like before it cuts where like his mouth is getting like too wide for like a real person. But I think the full mouth is practical.
In this scene, I think it is. Yeah, he just like elongates his mouth at her, and she like obviously freaks out and like stabs his inside throat with a broom, and then like runs.
Bad.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, yes.
The image on Rotten Tomatoes for this movie is incredible. I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't trying to like stop the.
Hold everything. I want to see this photo. So, yeah, she stabs him inside it. Looks real to me.
It's literally like.
Do you see what I'm saying
like...
with this like low scoop neck red T-shirt thing? It's so unnerving. Like, what is going on
It's so
here?
funny because it's like it's clearly the shot that's like right before they cut.
Yeah.
I hope that's his real mouth.
It might be. That's what I'm saying. I think that they used their like cuts smart, like in this. So, Jackson runs away. She goes to Sam's house and breaks in, and is just like, this is where she refers to him as the Mouthman, and is like, the Mouthman came to my apartment. He showed up. He's trying to get me, and we have to go. Like, we have to go right now. And Sam is just like, no, like, I'm not going with you. Like, I can't deal with this. Like, I don't want any part of this. And she's like, okay, well, we like saw this guy eat a child, so like we have to go. Like, we have to go. He's coming. Sam's wife, Deborah wife, comes down and is like, what the fuck's going on? Who is this? Are you having an affair? And she's just like, no, like, he's my dad. And they're like arguing with each other essentially because the wife is mad. Basically, the wife and Jackson are both mad that he didn't say anything about having a daughter to her or whatever, and they're like having this kind of like three-way argument, where finally Jackson is like, we have to leave immediately. Like, I don't care about anything that's happening here. She like picks up a knife and is like holds him at knife point essentially, and is like, we have to go now. Get your shoes on. Meanwhile, Deborah wife looks out the window and is like, who is that? And it looks out the window and you see Chompy, you know, like shuffling over to the house or whatever. And Jackson is like, that's him. We have to go. And the wife is just kind of like, throws a hat at Sam and is just like, it's cold. So she's like telling him to leave essentially. So, Jackson and Sam leave in a car, and Jackson says that they need to go, to her friend Lotus, because he is the go-to guy for ghosts and vortexes and whatnot. And I was like, amazing. Let's see Lotus.
Lotus.
I wish I had a vortex guy.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm the vortex guy, if you need anything. So,
Katie, where's the vortex at?
Well,
I gotta go find a Bigfoot.
Text me.
I'll send you some coordinates.
I also liked it when they do get to Lotus and they get to his book. It just looks like it's like a handmade fucking spiral notebook thing.
Yeah, they literally just like printed it at a thing, at a Kinko's or whatever. In my mind, I Kinko's was not my first go-to, and I was gonna be like, are there still Kinko's? I don't think I've ever seen one in person.
It was made up.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was never real.
Yeah, I think it's like a mafia scam.
Yeah.
This is a collective. What the hell is that called? Like misremembering something.
Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinko's.
I was watching something about that recently, and there was like a new one, and I was like, I absolutely cannot deal with this anymore. Like, oh, it was shit. Never mind. That wasn't it. There was one.
This is my government conspiracy theory: is that we all remember it correctly, and the government's just lying about it for fun.
They just change it
just to fuck with people.
I agree.
Berenstain Bears? Fuck you.
No. Yeah,
not true.
So.
That's never true.
There was one where people were saying, where this I don't technically think is one, but it was like how everybody collectively calls sherbet, even though there's not another R. It's just sherbet.
Sherbet.
Yeah, like it's not sherbet.
I don't know if I can handle this conversation.
That's what I'm saying.
I might be kind of high still.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't know if that makes it worse or not. If you want to pontificate.
Yeah, there's no way it's always been orange sherbet.
I've literally never
The
in my
goddamn
life.
frog.
I mean, I also
Get outta
don't
here.
know how often I see it like spelled out as opposed to hearing it.
Yeah.
So like that
But I've
doesn't
literally
surprise me.
never heard anybody in my life say sherbet.
No, okay,
Ever.
hold on. So there's sorbet, sherbet, and sherbet. Sherbet is a thing.
It's just not
What's
what
the
the
difference?
orange is.
Say
Right.
it's yes.
Okay.
Sorbet is whatever
Yeah.
with dairy.
Sorbet is whatever
Sherbet is
sorbet
made with
is.
fruit and dairy, and sherbet is, I'm guessing, all dairy free. Wait, hold on. There's less of a difference between these two. Sherbet and sherbet are the same per Merriam-Webster dictionary, and my understanding of the desserts, where sherbet is a standard American. Oh, so it's just like it's an American pronunciation as opposed to the rest of the world, because we gotta do everything very stupidly. But also, sherbet
Yeah,
is correct.
that makes sense.
Fuck you, the rest of the
Sherbet
world.
is American?
No,
Or
sherbet
sherbet?
is the
Okay,
American
okay.
pronunciation, because we
Okay.
don't know how to read.
That's
Apparently.
why I was gonna say, like, I don't think it is the same as a Mandela effect. It was just like a video I saw recently because I was like,
Oh, of course.
I think
in British English, sherbet is a different thing, though, and it's a sweet powder that can be mixed into water to create a beverage. So if you go to the UK and you say sherbet, you're going to get some kind of weird drink.
oh no.
That makes sense. It tastes like beans
Well,
on toast.
yeah, because everything in the UK also makes 0 sense.
Chaos.
I like some of it, but some of it is then
Although I will say, if I ordered some chips and I got some fries, I'd be very stoked. That's a good mix-up.
I like both. I don't know. I like both equally, and if I order a specific thing, that's the thing that I want. I will never not want a fry, though.
Yeah,
Like
fries
any
are the best.
potato. Why did this happen?
We're talking
Great
about
question.
Mandela effect stuff.
Why?
I don't remember.
Okay. I don't either. Okay.
Yeah, the government was making us misremember stuff for fun, and I don't remember why.
I think you're onto something with that. If I'm not really like a conspiracy guy, but that's one
It's
that
the
I
only
believe.
conspiracy I believe. That
Yeah.
and Andrew WK was replaced several years ago.
They
I hope
Well,
it's
yeah,
after
or-
I met him, at least.
You'll never know which one you met.
Look,
Yeah.
whoever it was, I played Simpsons arcade game with him. It was very fun.
sounds like the real one to me. I don't think a fake would know to do that, if I'm honest. All right, so they're gonna go to Lotus. Meanwhile, Sam's wife calls and is like leaving him a message, and actually seems like to be pretty concerned about him. She's like, "I just want you to come home. Like, sorry, I was mean or whatever." And he ends up sending her his like location on the phone, which turns out to be a bad idea. But normally, yes, share your location with people, tell you where you're going, so you don't just disappear.
Unless you're going to like find a creature, kill it, then don't tell anybody.
I mean, that's probably fair. Like, that's fine. Any other time, definitely share it. Nobody's name is Sarah. Sam and Jackson go to the chapel party, and this is where they're playing some kind of like they show just like scenes of people doing crazy party stuff, like drinking and smoking.
Cigarettes.
This is probably where Two Cigarettes Pill Man is, or whatever his name was. And there's like some kind of hymnal music playing, and they find Lotus, and basically like Lotus is kind of manic essentially, because like she's trying to talk to him, and he's just like being like, "Oh, what's going on? Who's this? Who's that? Whatever." And he just kind of like won't stop. He's like talking over her a bunch, and then she finally goes, "Dude, we need your help with the paranormal." And he's like, "Oh, fuck yeah." It's stoked, excited. I'm like, that's me. I'm Lotus. Like, And so, like, they're trying to talk to him about what they saw. And he immediately starts like spouting off like all of these like paranormal creature things that like don't exist really. They're like made up for the movie,
Katie,
which is
none of them exist.
okay. The concept of them is not real. They're a made up concept. And
I don't know. Did
so
you Google them? Maybe they are real. Maybe the government's Mandela affecting you to make you think they're not real.
Dun
That's
dun.
fair. That's fair. There was a book in the movie, which means it's got to be real.
As far as I know.
The Mouthman.
Was it like Rixella or something?
Yeah.
The name Rixella evokes romanticism, glamour, and courageousness. I don't think this is what I'm looking for. One of the top things is Chompy and the girls, so I'm going to assume this is not real.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a drug you would be promoted on like a Tubi ad that like this will help you sleep, but will also cause you massive diarrhea and probably give you brain aneurysm. Yeah, while you sleep.
Yeah.
You won't know what's happening. You'll just wake up.
Wake up in a puddle of shit.
Gross. So he's just like spouting off all these things, and they kind of can't get him to focus like long enough to tell him like really what happens, because while they're trying to talk to them, Lotus sees some guy trying to like roofie a girl, and so he goes over to stop it, and instead of like just knocking the drink over and being like, hey, I saw what you did, he takes the drink from the girl and drinks it himself.
Incredible reaction.
Perfect. And the guy who's like trying to do the poisoning or whatever is just like, what the fuck, man? And they kind of like start fighting a little bit until Sam and Jackson have to like drag him out of the house and get him into the car. And so they're like, oh my God, like what happened? And he was like, well, that guy was like roofing her. Like I had to stop it. And Sam literally says like, why didn't you just like dump the drink out? Why did you drink it? And he was just like, who are you anyway? Like, so they're
I do
gonna
like
go
that
to Lotus's
also
house.
no one kicks this dude out. He's just they leave and he's just like still there at the party.
Oh, and then Lotus is trying to like text 911, like text the police about the guy, and I was like, I don't know if that's gonna work. So Jackson is essentially just like, hey, like, do you know how to make a magic circle? I don't know why she's like obsessed with a magic circle.
She asked him like 20 times.
Yeah, she's like, can you do it or not? And then he starts just like pontificating about the universe and communications and whatnot, and he's just like saying like all of this stuff, and Jackson is just like, so can you make a magic circle or not? And Lotus is like, yes, I can. But he's like very roofied at this point, and so they have to like carry him into the house.
This is not at all what roofies do. Like he would not be talking.
No. Oh, okay. So Lotus is, he's being like tripping out in the back seat. He ends up throwing up, and they're like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden Sam looks up like out of the car and is like, oh my God, that's the little girl from the park. And at this point I was like, what? How weird. It's literally the same girl that they saw get fully eaten by that man. And Jackson's just like, okay, like Jackson's immediately suspicious. Like, number one, yeah, they literally saw her get eaten, which is weird enough, but also it's like 3 a.m. Why is this little girl just like walking on the side of the street? And Sam's immediately like, oh, can I help you? And he's like being like really like nurturing to her. And Jackson is just like, no, this is like, Jackson is being kind of mean to her and like fucked up.
It's like interrogating her. Which
like is so fair. And I feel like that is what I would be doing. I would be like, what are you doing? Like before I would be like trying to help her. I would be like, what the fuck are you even doing here? It's 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's just how I interact with kids in general, so.
I mean, fair. So they're
hey,
like,
why are you outside? It's 3 p.m.
What the fuck are you doing here? Get lost. Scram.
Definitely how I interact with anyone who's been eaten.
Yeah, right.
I would just be like, hey, what the fuck happened here?
She's got a lot of things going against
Explain
her,
yourself.
right?
Yeah.
She got eaten totally. She's also a child. Like, yeah. So they ask her, she says that her name is Birch. interesting name. And she's basically just like, oh, I need help. Like, can you guys help me? My parents were supposed to pick me up. And again, Jackson's just like, okay, it's like 3 a.m. though. What are you even talking about? And she's just like, I don't know. And they're like trying to interrogate her, but it's like very clear that she's like lying and like something's amiss or whatever. But they yeah, they literally say, like, we saw you get eaten or whatever. And she's just like, I don't know. And they're, like, trying to argue about, like, what they're going to do with her when they see Chompy coming. And so they grab her, put her in the car, and drive away. They arrive at Lotus's house, and they kind of, like, argue outside a little bit because Birch doesn't want to go inside with them. Also, Lotus is, like, roofied, sort of. Like, he is like a little coherent, at least because he can walk on his own. And so they go inside his house, and I felt seen because there was googly eyes on everything. And I, for some reason, find googly eyes so funny. There was like a classical painting that had googly eyes on it. There was googly eyes on the lamp. And I was just like, Lotus really has a sense of interior design here. Like, I'm here for it. So, Jackson takes Lotus to bed, and they basically like kind of have like a little bit of a heart-to-heart where Lotus had said something like, you're a jackass, like you're an asshole, and that's why nobody likes you and nobody like invites you to things. And then he's immediately like, oh, I'm sorry, like I didn't mean that, like you're a good person. They hug, whatever. He finally passes out, and Jackson goes through his books to find the book that has the Mouthman in it. And I was like, thanks.
It seems like she could have found another book.
He only had like 4 books, so it wasn't that hard.
Apparently one of them he made on his own at Kinko's. That's where we got in the Mandela effect, was Kinko's.
Okay.
There it is.
See, the government tried to like make us forget Kinko's existed again. I'm gonna Google if there's a Kinko's near me. My FBI agent is frantically trying to plant a website in my phone as I Google Kinko's near me.
Reactivating Kinkos.org. Kinkos.gov.
Yeah, literally. The only thing that's coming up for me is FedEx. Is Kinko's still around? Oh. I guess maybe Kinko's and FedEx used to be the same thing, and in 2008 they stopped using the name Kinko's.
I knew it.
I don't know anybody.
Lively story.
I think that's fake though, because I don't know anybody who was like, I need to make a copy, I'm going to FedEx.
Some real fake news, if I've ever heard it.
You don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about all this.
Government's lying to us. We all know
this
it now.
One says Kinko's was bought in 2004 by FedEx. They're not the same thing though. Like you would think maybe like Office Max or Staples or something, they do that. Anyway, we can't keep doing it.
We can't reel down the rabbit hole on Kinko's. I'm gonna Google is Kinko's a government scam.
I love how like anybody who's our age that's listening to the podcast is definitely like, yeah, I remember Kinko's. And if for some reason there's like a 20-year-old, they're like, what in the fuck are these old people even talking about? Okay.
Fucking ancient fucks.
I know. They're also like,
back in my day.
What are googly eyes?
You used to get stuff laminated at the Kinko's.
Correlated.
I Googled, is Kinko's a government scam? And it's just coming up with as a bunch of people that got scammed by those like FedEx that has your package. We need your social security number fucking things.
My favorite is that I get them from the UPS store, but there's always like fucking emojis in it, and I'm like, yeah, I really bet the postal service is texting me with emojis. Like
UPS definitely using the like mind blown emoji.
If FedEx is going to deliver me a prize and wants me to get a Steam card, why? FedEx is going to deliver me a prize is an incredible phrase.
Is it a sexy lamp?
Yeah.
If it says Fragile on it, turn it away. Okay. Googly eye. Okay. Jackson finds the book. The thing that's funny about this to me is that she's trying to look up the Mouthman, Chompy, in the book, and that's not what she finds at all. She finds the Ricella or whatever, Ricella, however they pronounce it.
I think it's just Rix.
Oh yeah, it's Rixella, Rixella. Which sounds, it does sound like some kind of prescription drugs for like, I don't know, osteoporosis or something. When Jackson comes back into the living room, she finds Birch crouched over Sam, doing something funky, and she runs out. There's a moment where Jackson like leans over Sam, and he looks dead. He looks very dead, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And she's like upset, and then all of a sudden, Sam has one of those moments where he's like, he like comes back to life and snaps out of it, and she's like, "Oh my god, what happened?" And he's like, "I don't know. I don't know." And she's like, "Well, you were definitely." She's like, let me get you a glass of water." But then she drinks the water and is like, "I don't want to say you were dead, but you definitely looked unconscious." Then he gets up because he's like, "Where's Birch?" And Jackson's like, "Oh, she ran out." And so Sam stands up and tries to take a step, but immediately falls and is like, "Hold on a minute." He takes off his snakeskin boot to find that one of his feet is like a toddler foot.
Hell yeah.
And I was having Colin Robinson flashbacks here. The idea that he just has one baby foot to me is so funny because, again, when you're watching this movie, the stakes feel very real, and there's so much like real emotions that these characters are dealing with that it feels like a very serious movie. And then all of a sudden he just has a baby foot, and he like randomly throughout the rest of the movie says baby foot, and it is so funny because it's like so out of place. Like he'll just do something and be like, my baby foot. It's so funny.
I just like that apparently when you're being transformed it starts at the foot.
Yeah, why not?
I guess it starts at Deborah's hand later, so.
I think it depends on what she what she's touching.
I don't think she's touching, though. She's just, like, staring into his face, because, like, when it's happening to Sam, she's, like, at his head.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
Knocking this movie down a star. This doesn't make sense.
Okay, it also doesn't totally make sense. We'll get to it. So Jackson stuffs the boot with a bunch of papers to make it fit and puts the boot back on his foot or whatever, and is just like, "Hey, don't worry about it." This is when he reveals that he has texted his wife, and he's just like, "I'm sorry, like I can't do this." And she's like, "What are you what am I supposed to do? Like, you were so nice and nurturing to you were more like a dad to Birch than you are to me." And then he's like, "Yeah, well, she's 10." And then Jackson's just like, "Well, I'm sorry I didn't come find you when I was 10. Like, fuck you, whatever, I'm leaving." She goes to stomp out, but she opens the door and immediately shuts it. And it's just like, and he's like, "Is Chompy out there?" And she's like, "Yeah." So
it's a phrase you never want to hear.
No. So Sam is basically just like, "You know what? Like, enough is enough. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to talk to Chompy. Let's just like talk to him and see what happens." Right. So they go out into the garage. Chompy is chomping up to them. And basically Sam is like, "Listen, if you're looking for Birch, she was here, but she attacked me and she ran away." And Chompy just like stops immediately and is just like looking at them. And, they like pretty much like tell him what happened, and then they're kind of like, "Is there anything, like, can you help us figure out like what's going on, or can we help you?" And Chompy smiles at them and then elongates his mouth, and then he just like points at them to enter his mouth.
Hop on in.
And Jackson is like, "Are we gonna be okay?" And Chompy's like, "Yeah." Well, he doesn't say yeah. He just is like, he just is Chompy. And so Jackson just goes for it, jumps in his mouth, and Sam comes to inside Chompy's mouth. It is like a galaxy dimension, essentially, where it's just like all black and there's galaxies. And then Chompy, who says his name is actually Talon, but they don't ever call him that. He's just Chompy, can talk inside his head, and his voice is Udo Kier.
Incredible.
He says, I can't do the accent, but he says, "Welcome to my mouth," which honestly, why is that not the tagline?
For real.
Welcome to my mouth? Like, amazing. Maybe people would think that this is a different kind of movie. This is where Chompy explains to them about how Birch is what is called a Rixella, which is basically just like a shadow parasite that latches onto people and feeds on them, and then it like sucks up their life force and turns them into replicas of itself, which is why we saw that little girl get eaten and then she appeared again. So he basically is saying that, like, if anybody finds out about his existence, he ceases to be able to, like, have his powers and, like, exist to stop the Rixella. And the fact that they didn't go to the police and tell the police, like, what happened, he's like, I wasn't coming to, like, attack you. Like, they essentially kind of just, like, bond, because he's like, I will save the human race. You guys don't have to do anything other than, like, go take a nap. Just don't tell anybody that I exist. And everything will go back to normal. Your foot will be healed. Like, everything will be fine. Like, I'm going to save everybody. So Sam and Jackson get teleported back out of Chompy's mouth. And there's, like, this moment of, like, actual, like, relief and joy where they're like, oh, my God, yes, this is amazing. Chompy's going to save us. Like, we don't have to risk our lives anymore. And we see and they're like, yay, Chompy. We love you, Chompy. And it shows Chompy, and his eyes are even, like, tearing up. And I was like, oh, Chompy, he's the good guy. He's been the good guy this whole time. I loved this twist. And Chompy is just
not for long, you didn't.
Chompy is just like, okay, nods at them and leaves. The before that, they were kind of, like, clipping. This is what Nathan was talking about earlier. They're, like, kind of, like, clipping back and forth between Sam's wife driving, because like I said, he sent his location earlier and he told Jackson that he had texted her to, like, come or whatever. So she arrives and hits something with her car. It's Chompy, and he is dead. I was so sad.
R.I.P. Chompy.
Got chomped.
Immediately, they're like, oh my God, we're saved. Chompy gets killed. At this point, there's still, like, 40 minutes left in the movie, and I was like, oh no. Maybe it wasn't 40. Maybe it was, like, half an hour. But still, I was like, oh no. She hits Chompy with her car, and he dies immediately, which seems like it's kind of easy to kill him, but... There's this another scene where, like, the wife and Sam and Jackson are all just kind of, like, screaming and arguing with each other because Jackson's like, you fucking bitch, like, you killed him. And she's like, what is that? Because, like, he's laying underneath her car with, like, you know, his huge mouth. And they're like, oh my God. And then Jackson is just like, okay, we have to, like, get him out of here. So they drag him back into the house, and then they get in the car and they're kind of like, oh my God, what the fuck are we going to do? Sam's wife gets in the car with them, and Jackson's like, you need to get out of here and leave. And she's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, what was that? What happened? And
there's no time to explain.
However, I'm hungry, so we're going to go to Peter's Pancakes and get breakfast. And
Hell yeah.
I want Peter's Pancakes.
The most important meal of the day.
Yeah, 2 a.m. pancakes.
Yeah. So they go to this diner where the waitress is named Cakey. And the conversation with them is
Chompy,
like, really...
Cakey.
Yeah, literally. The conversation is, like, very awkward because Jackson is, I think, rightfully kind of being a huge bitch to everybody. And they order food or whatever. And Sam is kind of like, Jackson, like, why were you so, like, hurt back there? And she goes, I'm not hurt. I'm worried because we're all going to be turned into little girls. And so this is like one of the things, and like I don't know if it's just because she didn't have enough time, but if they're all being turned into 10-year-old girls, like I don't really understand why they have like a baby hand and a baby foot.
Well, because they're being slowly changed.
But I feel like, wouldn't it be easier to go from a human, like a full adult foot, down to a 10-year-old and not starting from a toddler?
I think that's what it is. I think it's just like, I think the baby foot is for the joke.
Okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah, we're going to be turned into little girls, and his wife is like, what are you talking about? What's going on? Sam shows her his little baby foot, and she...
At the dinner table. Unbelievable.
Yeah, literally gross. Also, I can't imagine that running around sockless in snakeskin boots smells very good. You know,
it's gotta be so uncomfortable too. And also, I don't know how a baby foot stays in there anyway.
Well, they crammed it full of paper. I don't know.
Yeah, seems really uncomfortable. And she sees it, and she literally is just like, I can't do this. Like, she means she can't do whatever crazy bullshit's happening. But Sam immediately goes, well, we could get a divorce. And she's like, no, I didn't mean that. And so they're kind of like having this like...
Perfect time to slip that in there.
Yeah.
We could just get a divorce. Sure.
And so essentially they're kind of like arguing about like what they're gonna do. Sam is like, maybe we should just go talk to Birch, because when we went and talked to Chompy, like it worked out. So like, why don't we just go talk to Birch? Like I can sense that they're nearby. His little baby foot gives him like, it's like a hive mind thing.
Birch powers.
I love it so much. What a ridiculous thing. It's so ridiculous that I love it. Meanwhile, I don't know, like this is kind of a dick move, but Jackson is just like pouring syrup all over the table for no reason. Yeah. And then the waitress comes up and is like, "Why did you do that? Now I have to clean it." And she
clean that up.
And she looks like she's gonna cry, which I was like, "Girls, if somebody did that to me, syrup is so hard to clean up."
It would be my last day.
I would have,
right?
Yeah, I would have been like,
that.
I'm sorry, I quit. And the waitress is like,
I used to work at this warehouse where, like this food distribution warehouse, and somebody put this pallet of, I think it was ranch dressing, and the racks all fucked up, so that when I pulled it out, it just spilled everywhere, and it was like, you spilled like from like, I don't know, 4 bays up or something. There was like ranch dressing everywhere, and I just like parked like my reach lift and just like was like, "Hey, I don't feel good. I gotta go home," and left.
Did they say anything to you?
I don't remember. This was like 2005, something like that. It's been a long time.
And somebody somewhere is still thinking about that time that they stumbled upon
up the ranch
and had to clean it up.
Fuck, everybody worked that job.
And yeah, so the waitress is like literally on the verge of tears, and then Jackson is just like, "Let's go. Sorry, this is all I have," and gives her like crumpled up
like $2
money from her pocket, and they leave. They also like had already ordered, but then they left and like didn't eat the food. I wanted that double chocolatey, chunky, whatever the fuck pancake she was getting. And Sam ordered just bacon. Okay.
I want pancakes so bad now.
Yeah.
Sounds wonderful.
Someone bring us pancakes.
Yeah, somebody give us pancakes. Like, now.
That would have been real upsetting if all of a sudden there was a knock at one of our doors.
It's Chompy.
Chompy's got pancakes.
You're like, oh my god, Chompy, I'm so glad you're alive. There's just some like random person talking on the phone outside and they show like Birch coming up to her and it's like, I need help, and the person's like, oh, what's wrong? And then you see behind her all of these birches running out from the darkness, and I was like, oh my god, there's so many little blonde girls.
Yeah, it's upsetting.
So creepy. Yeah. In the car, Sam and Jackson have another heart-to-heart, and this one is like pretty devastating, and she's just basically.
Is Chompy there?
It might be Birch.
It's the
I
construction.
literally don't even know what that was. It was right behind me, though. I'm scared.
The jackhammering into your house.
That was the sound of it busting through the wall.
Yeah. The window shattering.
That would be so scary. Having a heart-to-heart about how Jackson is, like, not a happy person. She's also, like, an addict, and she just, like, doesn't know, like, what to do, because even if she feels like even if she, like, gets clean and moves and, like, changes her circumstances, like, she just basically is saying she's, like, making up excuses for why she's so unhappy rather than, like, getting herself help or whatever. And she's kind of talking to Deborah, wife, also, like, weighs in on it, and they're just, like, kind of talking to her about that. This is where Jackson turns on the radio, and the DJ is like, "It's not Christmas, but I love this song, so I'm gonna play it." And then it's like a Christmas song, and then Jackson starts singing along to it because she sings when she gets stressed. And they are driving around. They're driving to try and get to the Birches, because of the baby foot consent. They see a bunch of them. They get out of the car. They manage to grab one of the Birches and shove her in a trunk. Some random guy is just, like, standing by the parking lot, and he sees them. What appears to be them kidnapping a child, and, like, takes out his phone to call the police. And there's this, like, running thing with Jackson where she talks about if you just act crazy around quote unquote crazy around normal people, then they'll leave you alone. And so she basically just, like, starts screaming and freaks out on this man, and he ends up, like, dropping his phone and running away. And I was like, I mean, fair. She literally, like, tackles him and just, like, screams at the top of her lungs, and it like, if I saw that, I would be very concerned. Meanwhile, Lotus has woken up at his house. He is just, doing that thing you do when you, like, wake up and you kind of have a hangover where you're just, like, walking and you're, like, get something to drink, and he just, like, looks over and sees Chompy's dead body in his living room, and he's just kind of, like, doesn't really react to it. He's just like, all right, chill, I guess. Now Sam and his wife basically have this, again, another conversation that is so sad, that's essentially just, like, about how they should get a divorce, because he's like, you don't ever talk to me about anything and you ignore me, and she's like, you don't talk to me about anything.
Yeah, she's like, you don't ever ask me anything about how my day was.
Yeah, we don't talk about anything. Like, we used to be friends, and, like, we're not even friends anymore, or whatever.
We used to be friends is such a brutal line.
Yeah. And then let's see. So they get back to Jackson's apartment. Well, and it's, like, kind of awkward because Jackson is driving, and just, like you can tell, it's like, that would be such an awkward conversation to be sitting. Like, she doesn't really know them, and they're, like, basically talking about third wheeling their divorce conversation. So they get back to her apartment. They take Birch out of I keep wanting to say Briar. It's like, it's so similar, but they take Birch out of the trunk, and they tape her to a chair inside. Then there's kind of, like, this scene where a bunch of the Birches show up outside the apartment, and they're, like, looking out the window, and there's just, like, a Birch, like, little girl face looking in the window, and I'm like, this is actually so scary.
Yeah, too many little blonde girls running around.
Literally. Like, yeah. Why are little blonde girls the scariest? Like, they're one of, like, the scariest ideas of, like, a ghost child also. Like, a little blonde child. Ew.
Yeah, we should get rid of them.
I agree. Jackson is like, oh
Vote
my god,
for me
why
for
are they
president.
so
I will
mad?
abolish little blonde girls.
Yeah, Jackson was like, "Oh my God, why are they so mad?" And Sam says that his baby foot is telling him that they're not mad, they're scared.
Fuck.
Um,
It's the way that it happens though is so weird. She's like, "Can your foot tell?" And he like really somberly like nods just once. It's like, what the fuck? What?
I love
So
it.
strange.
I love it. So Jackson had texted Lotus about Chompy's dead body being there and asks if he can bring the body, Chompy's body. I don't know how he picked up that Chompy. He's got probably 100 pounds of mouth on him, in addition to being like a regular sized person. Asks Lotus to bring Chompy's body to her apartment, and Lotus gets there and it's just like, hey, there's a lot of little girls out here. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Lotus refers to Chompy as the dead mouth angel,
Yeah.
which really set me. And they're basically like having this conversation back and forth about like, we don't really know what we're gonna do, and they theorize that maybe like the way that Chompy was getting rid of the clones obviously was by eating them, and so they're kind of theorizing that maybe they can just put the girls' bodies into dead Chompy's mouth, and they will still be like taken, like it'll still work even though he's dead, because like he died with his mouth open, so like the portal is probably still there. And meanwhile, Birch is attacking Deborah wife, and Sam like goes in there and ends up knocking her out with like a salt shaker that Jackson had coke in or something. I was like, okay.
I don't remember
This
that
is
at all.
Yeah, this is where his wife gets baby hand. Jackson fights her, gets out of the house, fights her way over to Lotus's car. Essentially, by fights her way, she's just kind of like shoving Birch out of the way, which like she's a 10-year-old girl, right? That's totally plausible. Just like fucking shove her out of the way. Gets to the car, and but then one of the Birches comes up behind her and kind of like pushes her into Chompy's mouth. Oh yeah, Sam's wife has a baby hand now, and then they basically like have another conversation that like if they survive this situation, they're going to get a divorce. And I kind of appreciated that, like, normally in a movie or like a situation like this where there's like a couple that's like strained, the happy ending is that they mend their marriage and everything's fine. But I appreciate that like the happy ending here was that they realized that they needed to get a divorce, because like there's almost nothing worse than two people who cannot stand each other but they will not get divorced, and it's like it's so terrible. So to me, I appreciated that the happy ending was them being like, you know what, let's just fucking get a divorce, and we love it.
Yeah,
like I love it. So yeah, if they get out of that, they're gonna get a divorce. Inside Chompy, Jackson sees the actual original Birch. She is covered in like this black foggy mist situation, and she basically is saying like, you know, I didn't want to hurt anybody, it's making me do this. And Jackson's like, what's making you do this? And she's like, I can't say its name, like, but it made me attack my parents and my teacher and like all these other people, and like I don't want to, I wasn't trying to like do any of this, and I can't get rid of it because it's a part of me. And Jackson is essentially just like, okay, well, you know what, why don't you just give it to me, like I can deal with it, I can handle it. And Birch is kind of trying to be like, no, like I don't want to hurt anybody else, but then Jackson hugs her, and the shadow parasite thing is transferred to Jackson instead. All of a sudden, we see all of the Birches kind of like turn into Jackson now. So all of the little girls are just like a bunch of Jacksons. And she basically telepathically commands all of them to enter Chompy's mouth. And when they drop in there, they instantly are turned back into whoever the people they were before they were turned into clones of Birch. I was like, all right, okay. So that kind of is all happening. Jackson's like struggling with the parasite, and Sam ends up jumping down into Chompy and like struggling with the little parasite thing and like ripping it off eventually. And Jackson and him are fine, and she's like, oh my god, and they have like this moment where they hug or whatever, and then they're like, all right, we did it, yay, let's get out of here. And they're trying to like get back out of his mouth, but they've been in there too long, so they're starting to literally like disintegrate, I guess, and they can't get back out. And there's like a moment where you think they're just gonna die, and I was like, oh shit. Suddenly though, the noose from Jackson's apartment appears because Lotus has dropped it down into Chompy's mouth, and they're able to pull Sam and Jackson out. And when they get out, basically all of the Birch / Jacksons are now, again, the normal people who they're supposed to be, including Birch, who gets reunited with her family. Nobody, like, people, they don't really seem that concerned about what happened. They're just all kind of, like, standing there like, oh.
Yeah, you really, like they're all obviously, like, a bunch of, you see them, like, trying to call whoever on their phone or, like, whatever.
Yeah, they're
but,
just
like,
hey.
they just, like, hang out in some random person's driveway for, like,
yeah.
like, the end when, like, they, like, you know, Jackson and Sam and Deborah and Lotus leave. The rest, they're all just, like, chilling there.
Yeah, they're all just kind of like milling about. And so basically, like, the very end of it is just Jackson admitting to Sam that she needs help. And he's just like, all right, no probs. We're going to get a divorce and I'm going to, like, be there for you. And then they all actually go to breakfast together. And then it says the end, and it's the little, like, sign that Jackson made in the beginning. And I was like, aw, that's sweet.
I want some pancakes.
I might make pancakes for dinner.
This is rude.
I just want to pour some syrup on my table.
Yeah, let's go to Katie's house, pour syrup everywhere, and leave.
No. Absolutely don't do that.
April Fool's prank in October.
October Fool's prank.
Yeah, a little early or a little late.
Yeah.
Depending on your view.
Mine will be early, Kit's will be late.
Meet in the middle.
Yeah. This movie's a banger.
Yeah, surprisingly so good.
Yeah.
A sequel.
Was not expecting at all.
Give me a prequel that's just following Chompy. Need a little bit more Chompy in this.
In his death.
I will say, like...
Chompy goes to heaven.
Yeah. Chompy X.
I will say I was a little sad that Chompy immediately died and we didn't see him eat any other girls, but, you know, it is what it is.
Alright, any news?
Not that I saw.
There was something... I don't know why I never, like, just save this shit, because I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna bring this up, and then I just, like, have to go look for what
immediately forget.
There's a Deathstalker comic book with, from Slash and
sword.
Steven Kostansky on Kickstarter that I will...
Wild.
I'm definitely gonna do probably, like, the cheapest one, because I want it, but I want that fucking sword so bad.
Yeah. Someone buy me the sword.
Just send me $3,000 so I can get the three of us an issue with the sword. Oh yeah. Apparently there's talks that they're going to kick David Gordon Green off the Exorcist sequels.
I saw that.
Good idea. Stop letting him do this.
Better idea would be just not doing them at all.
Yeah. Right.
Just stop. You could just stop right now. Although, I gotta say, I had zero interest in seeing it until today, hearing that they attempt a woke exorcism at the end.
Jesus Christ.
And Ellen Burstyn's character says that she wasn't allowed in the room for the exorcism in the original one because of the patriarchy. Which is so fucking stupid. It sounds so stupid. I have to see it.
What is a woke exorcism?
They let a woman in the room.
Well, so instead of exorcisms are like a Catholic Church thing, right? well, they just have like multiple different religions and like ministers and shit from all different religions in there trying to exercise all together at
No,
once. Doesn't
no,
make
they
any
don't.
fucking sense, but
It literally doesn't make any sense.
It's this fucking like I don't know if this is the movie that's maybe going to like try to break people from fucking going to all of them because like
I hope
it's
so.
just
I'm so sick
everybody.
of requels.
Everybody's
The
bitching about
fucking
it, but I'm like, you all went to see it opening night. Like, you can't complain that they're doing all this while also like giving them your money
going to
every fucking
everyone.
time. It made, yeah, it,
$27 million
yeah. I
opening
was,
weekend.
so it's grossed 44 million opening weekend.
I'm sure its budget was like
Yeah,
20.
I was trying to figure out what its budget is, but IMDb is not telling me.
I mean, it's Blumhouse,
Yeah,
and they
they're
tend to keep it down in
so
like
that movie probably
the
it's like
20s.
you're not making the situation better. Like if you're gonna watch it, just wait. Like wait till it comes to streaming. It's not like you're
Yeah.
gonna get fucking spoiled for a fucking fifth Exorcist thing or whatever. Like it's gonna look as shitty as The Conjuring. You know what you're getting. I sort of
I,
understand like like when they did like Halloween Ends. Like I get it. Everybody's gonna go to the theater or whatever to try to see that. That went to theaters, right?
yep,
So like I sort of
briefly.
yeah
It was same day on
yeah
Peacock, I
I
think.
knew it was same day, but I couldn't remember like if it was just straight to Peacock or not. But it's like I get something like that where you're like, okay, I don't want like what happens to Michael Myers or like Jamie Lee Curtis or whatever to be spoiled. But it's like it's a fucking Exorcist movie. You know what the fuck this is. You don't need to see it like
Literally.
opening day and then immediately bitch about how terrible it is as if you didn't think it was as anyone who thought it was going to be good. I don't.
Is dumb.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it's dumb.
yeah.
There's
Like,
no way. There's no way it was gonna be good.
like it's just going to
I
be a shitty version of like The Conjuring and like it's like what all of that shit. There's been so many bad exorcism movies in the last like 20 years that like just attaching The Exorcist doesn't make it good. Stop doing this to us.
I'm so tired of requels where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's a reboot, but also a sequel and an excuse for us to bring back this character from the original one and tell the exact same story.
Yeah, it's
Like, bro, shut up. I don't care. I don't care.
like it's one of those things that like literally you could have just made that movie as just any generic exorcism movie.
Yeah.
Like, but they had to attach the Exorcist to it, and now David Gordon Green is haunted by William Friedkin. Great job, everybody.
He deserves
Yes,
it,
he does.
to be honest.
I like David Gordon Green too. Like, mostly because of his work on Righteous Gemstones.
I'm only really familiar with him from like those Halloween movies and like Pineapple Express. I think the only things that his have seen. I've yet to dive into Righteous Gemstones.
Anything he does with Danny McBride is A plus.
I just stop, just go back to comedy. Like you seemed good at that, and
Yeah.
you're not very
Stick
good
with Righteous
at
Gemstones.
fucking making these horror movies. So like, just let's stop.
I like Halloween 2018.
Yeah,
They
I
could
mean,
have stopped right
I
there.
haven't watched it in a while, but I still back that as like a decent Halloween movie. It's just it goes
Yeah.
off the fucking rails after that, and it's just like I don't need two more Exorcist movies. Like I just don't. I don't know why you need to make that a trilogy.
Okay, hear me out though. Exorcist kills.
Yes,
And the
Exorcist ends.
entire town the entire town hunts down a possessed little girl and try and beat her to death.
I'm in.
I like that.
And they
Listen.
all still shout evil dies tonight.
Yes, Evil Dice Say. The only thing that I believe is in this telling, the town is not the monster. It is the possessed little girl. Because as we've just said, little girls are the worst.
Just
Yeah.
fucking
Little blonde. Well, she's not blonde, but make her blonde. There you go.
no. But see,
Can be any girl getting fucking
what you
possessed.
have to do is you got to bring back Fuck, why is her name escaping me? Played Reagan in the original.
Oh, Linda
Linda
Blair.
Blair, yeah. You have to.
They already did.
Is she in this one too?
Oh yeah.
I knew Ellen Birkin.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, Ellen
Yeah,
Burstyn.
Burstyn. Yeah, I knew she
So
was in it, but I mean, I assumed at some point in the trilogy, like Reagan's gonna show up, but
I was so sad reading it. It was
I mean,
like,
she.
oh, and in the last minute of the movie, Linda Blair shows
Oh yeah,
up, and I was like,
you
oh
gotta get
no.
everybody fucking stoked for a sequel.
And they had to make a point of Ellen Burstyn saying Reagan because no one's gonna realize it's fucking Linda Blair. It's
I
been
think
50
It's
years.
upsetting. I
wow.
hate this.
Yeah.
It sucks. I read it and I was like, this sucks so bad.
I mean, like, there's like Exorcist 3 is fine, but it's dumb as shit. Like
I love Exorcist 3.
there was no reason for any of these sequels to exist for The Exorcist. Like The Exorcist is such a like self-contained story
Yeah.
that but like it's just especially now, like there's no reason other than like Blumhouse is like, I don't know, we got the rights to it and we'll make a shit ton of money off these dummies.
Pretty much.
I mean, yeah, that's all it is. Like there was like it's a like nobody needed this, and again, it's like I everything I've seen about it, it just feels like a Hellraiser sequel where they were just like, I don't know, we had this like exorcism script, let's just throw in some exorcist characters and like a little bit of lore and it'll be fine. And from what I heard, like it's so light on like exorcism shit throughout the movie. And it's
Right.
like just jump scares. And I was like, this sounds like dog shit.
Yeah.
What doesn't sound like dog shit is John Woo's Christmas action thriller, Silent Night.
Ah, fuck! I still gotta watch the trailer.
I'm not even going to. I'm just gonna go and I don't know when it comes out. If it's streaming by like December, we are watching that for fucking December.
It's gonna be like February.
Yeah. Well, like
What the fuck?
that's one of those things that like I don't know if it's gonna go to like theaters and like in December and then not hit streaming until.
Oh man, I hope it does. I could get a new John Woo and a new Michael Mann movie in December.
What Michael Mann movie's coming out in December?
Ferrari.
Oh, not Heat 2.
Sadly, no. But he's starting to work on it, so stay alive, Michael Mann.
I mean, is it going to be like the prequel, like the book?
That's my understanding, is he's just
God,
directly
please
adapting the book.
just put Al Pacino in a backwards baseball cap.
Yeah. That'd be so good.
All right. Katie, what'd you watch this week?
I actually watched a lot of stuff. Let me see here. Okay, after Bloods versus Wolves, I watched a Hulu exclusive called No One Will Save You. That actually it's like an alien movie. I actually really liked it. I don't think I've ever liked a Hulu original movie in my whole life, and this I absolutely loved. It was really interesting because nobody talks really. Like maybe there's like 10 words of dialogue in the entire movie. It's like very just like I found it really interesting. So I would highly recommend that one. And then I watched Zombie Town, which was like I think it's based off of a R.L. Stine story, and it was real bad. I didn't even finish it. I had to turn it off. It was bad. Then I rewatched Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which I still liked. I think I actually liked it more than my first watch. Then I finally watched Drag Me to Hell for the first time.
Oh god, movie rocks.
What
Incredible
the fuck?
film.
I saw that in theaters like the weekend it came out, and I swear to God, it is the loudest movie experience I've ever
It
had.
was so loud.
The scene,
Oh my
the
god.
scene with like the goat or whatever, it was so fucking loud. It was crazy.
It was definitely something. I love Alison Lohman, and I didn't really like the only thing I knew about the movie was basically like just from social media, right? So like I knew kind of like what it was about, and like okay, there's some stuff in it that like doesn't really hold up. It came out in 2009 though, but I will say like once once the thing like I don't feel like the main character, I don't remember her name in it, I don't feel like she deserved what
No.
happened to her based off of like the situation. Like, yeah, could she have said like, yeah, I'll extend your loan? Also, this person like they had already extended the loan a bunch of times. I was like, I was on her side. I was like, I feel, but then like all of the
Well,
stuff that happened.
so
What?
that's gonna get you dragged to hell, Katie.
I know. I mean, apparently, and so like, but like once shit hits the fan, it just really goes off the rails and it does not stop. And some of the like effects and stuff that happens like kind of didn't hold up really, but like there was a lot of really crazy ass shit, and I enjoy the ending a lot because it was just
It's so
like
good.
it was like
Like I
gotcha.
haven't watched it in a long time, and I'm sure like the CGI probably doesn't hold up well, but
No.
like it's Sam Raimi at his
Eh.
like most like batshit crazy in that
Oh
movie. Like
yeah.
it's just so much like goopy, gross shit in it. It rocks.
Like, and I appreciate that like it's like one of those movies where like this woman who like curses her is like a real woman, but a lot of the stuff that happens is like supernatural, but it's not like one of those things, it's not like a slow build. It's like immediately she's like seeing this woman in her house, and then the woman's face is exploding onto her. Like, and then everything goes back to normal, and she's just like, oh my God. She's just like, she herself is constantly getting jump scared, and that to me seems like the scariest outcome. The thing where she like spits the maggots and bugs all over her, absolutely not. Um, it was a crazy, wacky, goofy movie.
Perfect film.
Yeah, it's like very good.
Then I
15 out of
watched
10.
really wacky. The ending, like not the end scene, but like when she goes to try and like return the button to like the woman when she's already been dead. I was like, what in the fuck's happening here? It's just
Oh man, I
crazy.
forgot about that scene at like the like in her grave or
So
whatever.
sick.
Yeah, crazy.
I can't like
I didn't.
pitching that movie must have been like so absurd.
I can't even imagine. It's really balls to the wall. Like I said, I think if I had, I don't know if I would have appreciated it more if I'd seen it earlier. I think part of what made it not like I don't know if I would watch it again, to be fair, because like a lot of the effects don't hold up the same way. But like I don't know if you're wanting to watch something really fucking off the wall, like that's it. And then I watched Devil, the elevator movie.
I haven't seen that.
Now that's a terrible movie.
Did not care for it at all. It was fun to play the game of is that
Who's the elevator?
yes, who's the elevator?
Spoiler: it was the elevator.
What's the
Fuck.
guy? It was the elevator. What a weird.
Dave Elevator.
So like the premise. Oh my God, the premise of the movie is stupid. And so I was kind of like, I don't know, people make dumb, awesome movies out of dumb premises all the time. Like we just watched one, right? Like a Mouthman eating children. But the premise of this was so fucking stupid. And so you have like everybody on the elevator, and then all of a sudden somebody dies, and they're like, oh my God, which one of it was us? It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. They're like stuck in the elevator. Then all of a sudden there's like this detective who's like, my family died. Or let me see inside that elevator. He doesn't do shit, by the way. Then there's just this other security guy that's like, it's the devil. And I was like, huh? Why? And guess what? Spoilers. It was the devil. And I was like, what the fuck is even going on here? I hated it. I thought it was so stupid. Skip that one. But I got to play the game of, is that Logan Marshall Green or is that Venom? Choice is yours,
I
really.
have no idea what that means.
Okay, Logan Marshall Green is an actor, and he's like one of the people. You know how they have like the celebrity dupes? He literally looks like the guy that plays Venom.
Oh,
What's that guy's name?
Tom Hardy.
Topher Grace.
Yes. And almost
Topher
anytime,
Grace.
Summer from the OC.
Topher Grace Justified.
And so, like, anytime we see him, I'm always like, oh my God, which one is this? Then
He
I
does
watch.
sound very similar when Tom Hardy's doing his like American voice.
Yes, I
pretty
will.
weird.
I will say, okay, because when we were rewatching the OC, it's not Tom Hardy, but the other guy is in the
Tom
show
Green.
as Tom Green is in the show as Ryan's brother, and we thought it was Ed Hardy. Tom Hardy.
Yeah, Ed Hardy.
Ed Hardy's the motorcycle outfits.
Ed Hardy is specifically the designer of all of Bret Michaels' clothes.
Right.
Yeah.
And we thought it was Tom Hardy, and then we found out it wasn't, but then we Googled it, and apparently that's like a common misconception. And I will say that Tom Hardy is like beefier now, so you can tell the difference, but I just thought it was funny because Chris came in and was like, which one is it? And I was like, I'm not sure yet. Yours to find out. Okay, anyways, moving on. Then I watched this movie from this year called Totally Killer that stars Kieran Shipka, and it is about like there's like a serial killer that like killed a bunch of people that her mom went to in high school, and then the serial killer comes back and she has to like go back in time, and it's like a horror comedy. And I was like, this sounds really stupid. I actually thought it was so good. This is probably, out of all of the things that I watched, like my favorite thing that I've watched recently. It is, in my opinion, very funny. It takes place like in the 80s, of course, so there's all that like, you know, like 80s aesthetic and music and all that stuff. And I thought it was so funny. I loved it. Then I followed that up with My Best Friend's Exorcism, which is a movie based off of a book that was written by Grady Hendrix. It was so bad. It's not even bad in the way that like movies based off of books are, because it literally was almost nothing like the book. It just was like bad. It was like another one of those movies where like I couldn't tell who it was for, because the characters, it was written kind of like a teen drama, but then there was like, but I think it's rated R, so I was just like, who is this for? This is really stupid and dumb, and I hated it. Then I followed that up with Pet Sematary Bloodlines.
Hell yeah.
I'm in.
Finally, a good sequel.
I have to say, I didn't have the highest hopes for it, and I did like a lot of the cast. But I will say, I absolutely do not think that this movie needed to be made, because it doesn't tell a story like, we know the story. We know what happened from watching Pet Sematary, and it overall was just so boring. Like I felt like nothing happened, really. So
yeah,
you skip that too.
I'll probably watch it at some point when I get very bored.
Yeah, I mean, it just was like I said, it was just very boring, and like I feel it was like a weird choice, because I could have seen them like, okay, so obviously this is a prequel, right? So it's like taking place when Judd Crandall is young, but like, I don't know, it like, the entire point of the movie literally is so unnecessary if you've seen original Pet Sematary and know what happens.
Yeah, it's just another one of those ones where it just seems so like unnecessary as just to exist at all.
Yeah, and like I would have been okay with it. Like I obviously like Pet Sematary, and like sometimes they make stuff that's unnecessary but still turns out to be very fun, and this was like very not fun. I did not hate it as much as the Pet Sematary reboot, though. Like, it's better than that somehow.
Oh, yeah, that thing is
Bad.
What a pile of shit.
And also, like, it's like really weird to me, because this was a prequel to the remake, because they referenced those like animal masks. Yeah, I was like, who? Anyways, whatever. I'm almost done. Then I watched a movie called Spree,
What did you
which,
think of that?
so I, I'm gonna be totally honest. I only watched it because Joe Keery's in it, who's from Stranger Things. And it is kind of sort of, I'm gonna say that I would categorize it as like a found footage movie because it's from the perspective of like FaceTime, right? So I was like, those two things together, I thought, oh, okay. I thought the first half of it was extremely fun. Like, I actually really liked it. And essentially, what it's about is this like social media guy who's like trying to be an influencer, but he's just like not getting any of the likes or anything. And he's like down on himself because of it. And so he decides that what he's going to do to go viral is that he is going to live stream his spree, which is basically Uber in this movie. He's going to do that. And when he picks up the customers, he's going to just kill them. So, like, I don't know. That aspect of it to me, I was like, okay. So the first half of it I thought was very fun. And then halfway towards the end, it kind of like takes a turn that I was kind of like, I don't know. Like overall, I enjoyed it, but like it's not obviously like the best thing that I've seen. I think he is really good in it though. So
It's been in like my watch list, I think, since it came out. Because I was like, I don't know, this sounds like it could go either way for me. So,
his name is Kurt Kunkel.
oh,
So
thank you. I'm out.
The Kunkler.
Then I rewatched Practical Magic, which is perfect. It's one of my favorite movies, obviously. Then I watched a movie called The
Obviously.
Podcast Murders.
Nope. Out.
Don't know why I don't know why I thought that that would be good at all. It was really bad. It's so bad. Don't watch it. I didn't realize until, well, it is a Lifetime movie, which like I don't know. They used to slap back in the day, and they don't so much anymore. But it was stupid. Then I saw they added that show I was watching, The Haunting of, where that medium goes and like talks to
Just all
celebrities.
the Tom Green.
Yeah, they added seasons on Hulu. They had only the first season before, and they added like 2, 3, and 4, like some episodes. And so I started watching that in my other times. And Tom Green was on it, and he was just great to watch on his paranormal experience.
All right.
That's finally it.
What about you, Kit?
Let's see. I watched The Ghost Dance from 1982, which is a Native American slasher movie that was pretty boring.
Is it? That's a bummer.
But yeah, it's not like super boring. Enough happens in it to like make it worth a watch, and I think also just it being a Native American centered slasher film
Is it like actually?
makes it kind of worth.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. I think Bleeding Skull like wrote about it, so I've had it on this in this like list of Bleeding Skull movies I want to watch, and I couldn't tell if it was like going to be like a actual Native American story or like someone pretending to be.
Yeah.
No, actual Native American, surprisingly. Not as problematic as I was expecting, which is always a
I'll have to
plus.
give it a watch soon.
I watched Two Evil Eyes, which is a fucking
Oh,
banger
rocks.
from, yeah, is it Romero Argento?
Yeah.
What a team up. Highly recommended. Innismen was a movie that I watched.
I
I don't know
I
if I'm even
almo-
pronouncing it right because it's
I
like
almost watched that, and then I saw you watched it, and I was like, I'll just wait and see what you thought.
yeah, I don't know. I think I probably would have liked it better in a theater, but it's very slow build, and it just did not fucking do shit for me sitting on the couch watching it. It's
Yeah.
like Cornish people are fucking weird. I don't care. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I watched Zombie 90 Extreme Pestilence, which is an insane, highly problematic banger. It's a some German dude doing a shot-on-video splatter movie, and I guess the guy who did the soundtrack, him and a friend submitted a English dub as a joke, but the director loved it so much that he put it in the movie, and it's just like German dudes doing fucking, what is it, Snarf from Thundercats as a voice, and then
Uh-oh.
one guy doing a very bad black scent for another character. So it is a lot.
I watched it. I gave it 4 stars. So
It's fucking
Yeah.
insane.
I didn't leave a review, so I can't. I don't like. I'll have to rewatch it.
I mean, it does feature a woman giving a zombie guy a blowjob, and then she becomes a
Oh,
zombie
that's right. I
and
remember
bites his
that.
dick off, and then spits the blood from it into another guy's mouth. So
Oh.
A little bit.
pretty good in my book.
I know what my next movie pick is.
Oh.
Then I watched The Fly from 1958, and I gotta say, Cronenberg's Fly remake was not nearly as true to the original as I had always assumed it was for some reason. Pretty good. I don't know how people in the 50s survived the shock of seeing that man's fly head revealed. It's very upsetting.
Yeah.
And they were a very delicate people back then. Then I watched The Outwaters, which I enjoyed. Not a big found footage person, but Outwaters was up my alley. Takes a little bit to get going, but then it just becomes fucking like Blair Witch on acid. It's just like, oh, it's nighttime and there's screaming worms crawling around everywhere and there's some kind of beast moving around out there and now I've got a knife and I'm gutting myself and all just shit like that, like nonstop for an hour. And I was into it.
Is that it?
No, I've got 2 more. And I know I just said that I didn't like found footage movies, but I watched another one immediately afterwards. And it was VHS 85, because I will watch every VHS movie, because they're varying degrees of fun. And 85 was solid.
I need to still watch all of them.
The only one that I don't think I'll ever watch again
Viral.
is VHS 99. I like Viral.
Oh, which one was 99?
It was last year's.
I know I watched it. I don't remember anything about it.
Exactly.
Is
The most memorable part is that it ends with "Long Way Back from Hell" by Danzig.
that-
That's the only part
it
worth
the one
remembering.
with like is that the Ratma one?
No, that was 85,
Oh, okay.
which, or not 85,
84?
which one is that?
I don't remember. They all
I
sort
gotta
of blur
Google.
together.
There's
at this
too many
point.
numbers. 94.
Oh, okay.
VHS 94 was Ratma and Timo doing Wolfenstein, basically.
Well, I gave
94 is my
99
favorite.
1 star, so I apparently was not into it.
Yeah, everything was bad in that one. 85, the first 2 are okay. I like the last 3, and the wraparound segment I think is really good.
I pretty much just only
And then-
want to see the Timo stuff in any of them.
Yeah, pretty much. I like 85. They got Scott Derrickson somehow to do a segment, and like he's like, you know, a big real director now doing Stephen King adaptations, or Stephen King's son. What's his name?
Joe
Dave
Hill.
King. Yeah, that one.
Dave. His other son's name is Owen. Which I
Owen,
feel like is pretty
yeah.
close to Dave.
I remembered Owen, but I was like, it's not Owen. It was the other one that's more famous.
And his name is just Joe. So,
Pretty much all I watched that wasn't for horror gives back is Caitlin watched Saw for the sort of first time. I think we're gonna watch all the Saw movies because they've seen 1 and 2, but it was
Christ.
like haven't seen them in forever and forgot like everything about them. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all of like the first one, they were just kind of like every person was like, oh, that's the person that's doing this. And I was like, that's Danny Glover. Danny Glover is not the killer in this movie.
You leave Danny Glover alone.
Yeah. So
That's amazing.
it was pretty fun.
Well, y'all have already seen the only two good ones, so good luck on the rest of
I
your
was
journey.
just like, I mean, like the first 7 they're not good, but like they're fun.
The first 7, Jesus Christ.
Like I will back that
I-
first run. Everything after that, where it's like Jigsaw and Spiral and shit, I'm like I'm out. But like, I want to see what Saw 10 is about because I'm very interested in to
Sucks.
see how it takes place between 1 and 2 when everybody is old as fuck in it. Now,
Everyone's got a backwards baseball hat.
all right, shout outs, Katie.
I'm gonna shout out the new Citizen album,
I knew it was coming.
which finally came out, and it is called Calling the Dogs. I like it. I have never not liked something that Citizen put out. I don't like it as much as I liked the last album that came out, which was called Life in Your Glass World. But I have listened to it a few times, and it grew on me. It's still good. It's still some good jams. Well, let's see what my dumb playlist is right now. 90s punk 21st century evening. So there you go.
Amen.
If you're into
What the fuck is wrong with
college and
Spotify?
nostalgia, 90s punk, ska punk, skate punk, 21st century. What does 21st century mean as a music genre?
I don't know. Spotify makes up genres all the time, so
Void gaze.
This is what it's coming up. When I click on just 21st century mix, it is Drab Majesty, Dillinger Escape Plan, Yeah, Yeah, Yeahs, Every Time I Die, Radiohead, Sonic Youth, Converge, King
What a-
Crimson. This means nothing. This is nothing.
mine
PJ
constantly
Harvey,
tells
get out of
mine
here.
constantly every time I've looked at it is like you've listened to one thing and home. What the fuck is home?
You stare at the home screen.
Yeah, mine is right now improvisation and home. Here's some
I
percussive
have no idea.
saxophone. Okay. Spotify's the worst.
Yeah.
What about you, Kit?
I had a good one that fit something we said earlier in the episode, but so much has happened since that I completely
much has
fucking
happened.
forgot.
From Kinkos to exorcisms, like we literally just run the gambit.
So I'm gonna say something controversial. Go Texas Rangers. Shout out.
Boo.
Texas Rangers 2-0 ALDS. If I don't show up for the podcast next week, it's because we've lost and we're out of the postseason and I jumped off the freeway.
You gotta be here next week for Killer Condom. After that, you can go.
All right,
Don't make me
fair.
talk to Shane by myself. I don't know. I've been listening to his podcast. I finally caught up on all of Across the Puniverse. Very good. I hope they come back for second season. So that's my shout out, I guess. They all have, especially one of the dudes I think from Chat Pile has very absurd movie tastes, and I'm here for it. I feel like he has very similar taste to like us, where it's just like they'll be talking about something that is like, that movie sucks. He's like, that movie rocks. And I'm like, yep, bad movies forever. All right, next week, Kit, Shane, and I are going to talk about Killer Condom.
Yeah.
A very,
It's time.
very good movie. Katie's actually missing a good movie this time.
I'm sure.
It actually is. I think you would probably like it. It's very stupid and fun.
I think I probably would. Like I like Killer
Inanimate.
Thank you. Objects to me are very
An
funny.
anime object.
Objects in anime are very funny to me. But yeah. I don't really. Yeah, I don't really need to be saying the word condom a bunch of times, to be honest with you.
If you want to watch it, and you don't have either the Trauma DVD or the recently released Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray, I believe it's up on Internet Archive. You can watch for free with subtitles because it's German.
Oh.
All right.
See, Katie, it's classy.
Yeah,
German movie.
subtitles.
It's a foreign film.
It'd be awesome if this was just called that and had like nothing to do with a killer condom. Just like a weird, absurd title. All right, that'll be next week. If you would like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/hypeyourselfpodcast. I'm trying to think when this comes out. I know the Are You Afraid of the Dark episode Katie and I did is out on our Patreon at this point. And I think maybe right after this is when Mars Attacks will be out. So you can listen to the three of us discuss Danny DeVito not being used near enough in Mars Attacks.
Definitely not.
Correct.
I also forgot. I'm pretty sure we had a new patron.
Oh
again.
yeah, fuck it. We have a new Patreon. It's a person
Sorry.
named Gov that I think Kit knows because I think he's like a metal writer or something.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Gov. Perfect. And actually, the reason I thought of that, we do not have our shit together at all.
No.
So if you're surprised, if you got all the way here somehow, we did that bonus episode on that stupid ass exorcism movie that the badge
Which one?
foot, the badge the foot,
Badge the Bible,
The badge the foot.
the badge the baby foot,
I'm
and
having
Chompy.
a hard time. I think it is baby foot that's got my
Katie's
heart right
lost
now.
it.
I don't know what is happening to me. She did a movie that we thought was a documentary, but it was a movie about an exorcism. And I went off about the exorcism things and that because what they did was not an exorcism, clearly. But I asked people if they have any paranormal experiences, if they want. I have a few already, but if you want to send them in for me to read on a special episode, please. And I keep only forgetting and only asking on bonus episodes, which is like 10 people. So I'm like, I need to ask on a regular episode and I keep forgetting. So if you're listening to this now, I think you still have time.
Yeah, we're not going to do that till into November, so.
Yeah, send me your paranormal experience. It could be ghosts. It could be cryptids. I have a handful that are varying degrees of intenseness. But I literally am so excited. It's my favorite thing ever. So please send me your stories.
Send us a story if you've ever fucked a ghost. Or Bigfoot.
Sure.
Or
yeah.
a ghostly Bigfoot.
Ooh, Bigfoot could have a ghost. Bigfoot's ghost.
Yeah. Send us your ghost Bigfoot stories. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
You can leave us a rating and review on iTunes and Spotify. Follow us on Instagram at IBSuffer Podcast. Follow Kid at Hidden Kidstery and Kitrification of Blood. Follow Katie at Werewolfface. You can join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. You can listen to my other podcast, Nadia Movie Club. Yeah, Killer Condom next week. It's gonna be good. Gonna say the word condom
R.I.P.
so
Chompy.
much. Honestly, you call Killer Condom could be named Chompy too.
That's fair,
true.
actually.
All right. I hope you get chomped by the girls, but why?